Hey, welcome, my friends, to this week's dynamic episode of Motivational Moments with Maria. I'm your host, Crazy Coach Maria, and I am more than excited about today's show because we're going to have some fun with a special guest that I have invited to be on the show today. She is an amazing woman. She's an amazing woman, very powerful young woman, and we're going to talk to her about her journey, what she's accomplished in life, and some of the challenges that she has had. And you know that every week it is my intention with this podcast to bring you some thoughts on personal growth, personal development, some new ideas, because it is my hope that you experience more joy, fulfillment, energy, productivity, and love in your life. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Mrs. Kiara Luna. Kiara Luna. And Kiara is a bilingual. She's a bilingual therapist, licensed mental health therapist. She's also a best-selling author and the owner of New You Psychotherapy. And I'm reading this, so my apologies for that, but I'm going to read it. Now, she has over a decade of experience, and she has helped couples. Did you hear me? I said couples develop new rituals of connection, increase their fondness, increase their admiration for one another. And how many of us could use that? Seriously. And she has been featured in Fatherly, Psych Central, Bustle, Wedding Wire, Active, and more. Now, she is a powerful speaker, and you're going to hear that in a minute. Just an incredible, energetic woman. And she loves to empower, educate, and motivate audiences. So, Miss Kiara, thank you and welcome to the show today. I'm thrilled that you are here, and I am honored to be in your presence.
Hi, Maria. It's so nice being here with you. Thank you so much for inviting me to your show. It's an honor for me to be here with you. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Ms. Kiara, we are so excited that you are here with us today. And as I said, I appreciate you being here, and I'm excited because I want to talk with you about the things that you've accomplished in your life. You're a very young, dynamic speaker, author. You have your own therapy business, and you have just done a lot in your short time. And I know that over the years, you've had some challenges. So, Kiara, talk to us a little bit about your background, where you came from, some of the challenges that you've had to overcome. Great story.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for that question. So, life for me, I was born here in the United States of America. I grew up in a parent household. And at 6, 7 years old, we decided to move to the Dominican Republic. And as a family, we made that decision. Well, my parents made the decision. I had no saying. uh, but we then, we lived in the Dominican Republic for about 6 to 7 years. And I remember that shift for me being very challenging because even though in my home Spanish was spoken, Spanish had been my second language, right? And English was my primary language. So when I moved to the Dominican Republic, it was a culture shock, right? Because now everyone speaks Spanish. Now I have to learn the language and force myself. So it was a lot of challenges when it came to that. And then 7 years later, we moved back to the United States. So I stayed here from 13 and on in the United States.
So you've experienced a little bit of challenges as a born in the United States, but then going back to the Dominican Republic, excuse me, not knowing anyone,
right? Well,
stepping
no.
into
So
oh,
yeah.
okay,
So
go
in the
ahead.
Dominican Republic, we still had a lot of. So all of our majority of our
Okay,
family lives there, right? So we have family from my father's side, family from my mother's side. So a lot of family over there. But we also have family here in the United States. So a lot of what we left or I left behind here in the United States was friends, right? My culture, of course, the comfort level of already having a structure here in the United States. So going into the Dominican Republic was really a shock for me because, I was leaving my friends, but I was 6, 7, a little girl. But it was really difficult for me because of the language barrier and having to now pick up on things that I didn't have to before, and then going into a school where that was not actually very welcomed, the fact that I didn't speak Spanish fluently. And, kids used to pick on me, bully me, and just a lot of experiences that were not really fun.
Yeah, so you did experience bullying as someone coming in from the United States into the Dominican Republic, even though you're Dominican, right?
Yeah, even though I'm
You're
Dominican.
DR. And whoa, that's surprising to me. It is surprising to me, but
Mhm.
I would think you don't speak the language as fluently as they do. You don't know the innuendos of the different shifts in the culture. So, and how long do you think it took you to really acclimate?
That's a great question. So, in my experience, it took me about maybe I would say a year, really, like a
Mhm.
year to really get into the rhythm. I remember that at that school that I was attending, because children are going to be children, but at that I felt really lonely and I felt really like I didn't belong. That was the first time, but now looking like in hindsight, I felt like I don't belong here,
Mhm.
even though I looked like them. So that was really confusing to me, you know? Uh, and then I remember telling my parents, like, I want to, no, put me out of the school. I do not want to attend the school anymore. I don't feel good. I don't like it. My father was all for putting me in the public school because it was a private Catholic school, and my mom wanted me there. And my mom didn't want to take me out. But then after I explained to her what was it that I was experiencing, and also all of my friends that I had made in the neighborhood used to go to this public school, then I was able to convince my mom to change me to that other school where I then started to feel like I was fitting in. And a lot of my confidence was coming back, my self-esteem was coming back because I was in community, in a place where I actually felt accepted for who I was, and not rejected for who I wanted to be.
That is that's a great story. I mean, that is good because you realize, hey, I'm not fitting in, even though I look the same. I'm not fitting in,
Yeah.
and I want to go someplace where I fit in. Now, fast forward. Now you're 13 years old and coming back to the United States.
Mhm.
Those are pivotal years. Those early teenage years. What was that experience like?
Oof. Oh, that was hard. That was really challenging for me because now I'm in DR and I made my community. I have my friends. I have everything there. Uh, my community, and again the language. So then my Spanish became what I was fluent in, and then English became the secondary language, right? So here I am now going through the same exact experience, just 7 years later. So it was like a whole 360 for me. So here we go, coming back to the United States now at 13, teenager already. I was liking boys already, so I was like, damn, like all these boys I like I won't be able to see them anymore. And then my friends, of course, and all of that. So we come back to the United States, and here it was absolutely another shock, another culture shock, right? Not so much just like the culture itself, but also like the culture within our home. Because in DR we lived in a home where everyone had their own space. And now we come to the United States and New York City where we have to live in a studio apartment, you know.
What?
Yeah, studio apartment, my mom, me, and my little brother, and then my dad, of course. So it was such a shock for me to have to now share a room with a divider, and I'm sleeping in a bunk bed. It was just, I was like, what is going on? This is not what I signed up for. Please ship me again to the R. Like I'll be fine over there. So, but it was very, very a very challenging moment for me in that way. I remember I was really, really upset. I remember that I was angry because I
Mhm.
just couldn't understand why couldn't just we make it work over there. Like, you guys are two adults, make it work, you know? But I was really angry at that. And as time passed, I just had to, begin to adjust to what my reality was going to be. But coming back here was also another shock because again, the language I didn't speak it fluently or as fluently as I would have wanted to. What really helped, I believe in God, and I believe that I'm one of his favorite children. So I know that he's always looking out for me. And I remember that one of my fears, and because of I already knew the experience that I had in DR, was that I was going to go through that same experience of not feeling accepted in whatever school I was placed in. And thankfully,
Oh, ooh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
rough.
That was rough. That was really rough. That was a fear that I had. And I prayed that, God, please like make sure that you find something that's actually good for me and it's a good fit for me. So my mom did a really great job at looking for schools and really doing her homework as to like, okay, where can I put this girl where I can also feel safe? Because around that time, my zone school was the Kennedy in New York
Mhm.
City, and that's at that time it was known as one of the most dangerous schools. So my mom did
Oh,
not want me
ouch.
to go there. Yeah, my mom did not want me to go there at all. She was adamant. Thankfully, we then ended up finding a school where it was a school where so many cultures were in there. So it was like like a school where a lot of immigrants who came in to the United States and did not speak the
Mhm.
language, right? So I know that we called it here ESL school. I
Yes,
think.
English
Yeah.
English as a second language.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So I mean, I felt at home. I felt at home
Yeah.
there. So many different communities, so many different cultures. I felt like, okay, like I see people who look like me here and also speak the English that I speak. So it was a beautiful experience to be in that environment because it still maintained my confidence level and my self-esteem, and it was really supportive of who I've become, honestly.
Right. And when you meet you, I mean, you appear to be very confident. You have great self-esteem. I mean, you have a great presence about you.
Mm.
And going through those experiences, what do you attribute that to? I mean, building that because there were some big challenges for you going back to DR, coming back to the US. How did you overcome those? How did you
Yeah.
overcome that fear, that rejection, that bullying? Tell me about that because it says something about your resilience.
Thank you. That's a great question. Um, I think a lot comes also from me witnessing how my mom has moved throughout the years. She has really been an amazing inspiration and example when it comes to resilience and also confidence.
Hmm.
My mom is the person that you would always see smiling no matter what. She could have a
Yeah.
really bad day, but she always puts a smile on, even if she's having a hard day. You would not know, you know? Um, so that really, really inspired me when I was little. I always used to see that as like, oh, that is so, she was just arguing right now and she's just here like giving this person her best self. Which it was, I always say there's a negative and a positive to everything, right? Because it's like, okay, well, are you giving yourself your best self as well? That's a whole different conversation. But um but my confidence really came, definitely began at home. And also hearing, I was always affirmed in my home, always reminded that, you're great at whatever you put your mind to do. You can do anything. So always hearing also those words in repetition, like repetitively, really also supported me in becoming a more confident person as I have gotten older. And I think that then when I became older and I have gone through other challenges in life, I've just reminded myself that I can do anything I put my mind to, and that whatever it is that I put that focus on, that's what's going to come to fruition. So it's really been a mind thing for me, and being
Uh-huh.
conscientious of those
Right.
thoughts that I'm having and what is it that I'm thinking and how is it that it's manifesting in my life.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that because you know how much I love having a strong mindset, having a positive attitude about things, and making sure that we have great role models. And one of the things I always say, be the best role model that you can be for someone else, right? Be the
Yeah.
best role model you can be because people are always looking at you now, aren't they? They're
Yeah.
observing, they're seeing what's going on, how are you reacting? So good for you that you had an excellent role model in your mother. I mean, that's beautiful. And I too, I had a great role model. I mean, my mother was not very well educated, but she worked hard and she instilled in us a work ethic like no other. So work, never been afraid of work. So it makes such a difference, right?
Thank you. Yeah, it makes
And
such a difference.
it makes such a difference. So now, what inspired you to pursue your current career, your current passion? Because I
Mm.
know you're very passionate about what you do.
Yeah. Huh. So when I was little, I was always called, so people always thought that I was, well, people knew that I was young, but they really were confused about that because I was so wise. So I remember times when we would go to events, or my mom, for example, was at the hospital once and I started speaking to this nurse, and the nurse was so shocked by the words of wisdom that I was sharing with her, that she went to my mom and she was like, "Why is your daughter so wise? Why does she know so much?" Like, why? And my mom was just laughing, telling her that she always receives, she always gets that from me. So from an early from an
Take
early
credit,
on
Mom.
age, yes, she does. From early on, I had this inner kind of wisdom to give advice to other people, or to help people, see the strengths that they do have that they are not aware of. So from really early on. Now, at that time, I didn't know what therapy was. I didn't know mental health. I didn't know any of that. So in my mind, it was not to become a therapist ever, because I didn't know that that was even a thing. If anything, my the things that I wanted to do when I was a little girl was singing, dancing, or being an actress, being a criminal defense lawyer. So those were the things, because I was surrounded by those things. Now, as I got older and I started experiencing, I went to school for my bachelor's in criminal justice, and because my mindset was, I'm going to at 12 at 11 years old, I decided I was going to be a criminal defense lawyer. So since then, that was my mindset. That's what I was going to do. I came here, I went to school, I did my bachelor's in criminal justice, and then I said, let me take a break to really explore what is it that I want to do next. And I had different jobs, and I had this job where I had the opportunity to work with families, to work with children in crisis. And I realized how naturally it came to me to de-escalate them when they were in crisis, to support them and provide them skills to be able to, have better relationships with themselves and each other. So I was like, maybe I want to be in the mental health field.
Mm,
I was already doing a lot of mental health related work, but I didn't see myself as a mental health provider. Uh,
got it.
yeah, so that's really where it all kind of started unfolding for me, at that job at the mobile crisis team. And then after that, I decided to go to school for mental health, and then one thing led to the other, and it just kept on, piling up. I feel like God has just guided me to finding me in this
Hmm.
in this work, and that's really what has inspired me. It's like just working other people in the community is what has inspired me to do this work,
Hmm.
as I noticed that in so many ways, in our own community, right, the Spanish community, this is such an important topic, which is mental health, but it's so often ignored or
Hmm.
downplayed, right? So when I saw that need, yeah, when I saw that need, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, and bring awareness to my community, so there can be so much healing, and so many cycles be broken now because of us bringing awareness to what this actually is.
And I love the way you state that because it's so true. And there's just such negativity around someone that has a mental health issue, right? People think they're crazy. Están locos, but they're not, they're crazy,
Sí.
but they're not.
Ujú.
We have to, as a society and as our community, understand that mental illness is an illness. Mental health illness is an illness,
Yeah.
just like any other type of illness. If
Yeah.
you had a pain in your insides, what would they do? X-ray. MRIs, ultrasounds, right? But who ever evaluates the brain?
Right.
Because
Right.
there are some deficiencies, there are some challenges that we have when someone is mentally ill, and we
Right.
just ignore them or we shun them, which
Hmm.
is we have to change our thinking around that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so just so unfair, right? Because just like physical health is important or mental health is important, right? We
Hmm.
have to begin to prioritize that. And mental health too, I think that people have this concept that mental health is just for the people who are severely ill, right? So like they're looking at it as if, well, you only need therapy if you want, if you don't like you, that means that you're weak then because you should be able to figure it out. That's one thing that, I hear often. Or two is that it's really for the people that just cannot control themselves. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Therapy is for all of us. Therapy is so supportive and so helpful just to organize your thoughts, organize your ideas, know what you're thinking. Sometimes, a lot of us walk through life, most of us honestly walk through life unconscious. We're not actually paying attention to we're not present, in the here and now, and not realizing how much our body actually connects with our mental is so not beneficial for us because we'll pay a price for that, and our body pays a price when our mental health is not in check or it's not being attended the way that it's supposed to.
Hmm. Yeah, and in your eyes, how do you see your industry changing, your field changing, evolving in the future? And what are some of the trends that you find like really exciting?
Yeah. So one of the ways that I see mental health changing is more people being open to it. And I've seen that already taking a spike in the amount of people that are seeking out there for support and mental health. So I see a lot of younger generations, but also older generations being open to it. And that always brings me so much joy because I can see now that their mindset is changing as to how they have perceived mental health in the past. Um, Another way that I see it also taking off, and one of the things that excite me is with social media, right? Is being able to now have a platform where we are able to share our tools and our thoughts
Hmm.
and our strategies to be able to support others that may not have the privilege to be able to go to therapy, right? Because therapy is just one tool to be able to go through your healing journey, right? There's so many
Correct.
other tools that you can have. So having social media as a tool to be able to use the other tool, which is therapy, to provide to others just the strategies and just the insights that we have to be able to uh, go into their own healing journey and personal development is something that really, really excites me.
Yeah, it excites me too. And I was talking to someone last week, and they said, "Well, when did your personal journey begin in personal development?" I said, "In my early 20s." I was very fortunate that someone introduced me to, quote, personal growth, personal development, and I learned so much about myself, right? And when you learn so much about yourself, you begin to see the patterns in your life,
Yeah.
and you say, "Whoa!" And I have to disrupt that pattern because it's been something I've been doing over and over. Now, in the 70s, because my age is showing, people thought it was cultish if you went to any of those personal growth and
Mm,
personal development things. And I said, "Oh, you're in a cult." And I said, "No, I'm just learning about myself and who I am and what I am and what the possibilities in life are." Right.
yeah.
And so, and I am one of those education junkies. I love personal development, personal growth. I love helping people see the possibilities just like you do. And I know that because of the awareness and social media, that it's becoming much more accepted and much more available to everyone. I mean, just like doing
Yes.
this podcast, she's like, you're catching some people's attention because they're going to be listening to you. I mean, you've been through it, you've seen it.
Yeah.
And what I love is that you're just continuing to put the message out there. Mental health is an illness that needs to be treated like anyone else, or therapy, whatever it is. But go out and get some help if you're feeling a little dismayed and uncomfortable or not unsure of yourself. Get a coach, get a therapist,
Yeah.
someone to give you that support. Now, what I'm really excited about is you said you have this major event coming up, your first major event coming up, a mental health event. Tell us about that.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for asking. I'm super excited. This is New Year Psychotherapy, which is my mental health group practice first mental health event in New York City. It's going to be in Dyckman, May 25th, 2024. From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And the purpose of this event is to really break down barriers, stop the stigma, really provide resources also to our community, and most of all, have fun. I'm a fun person. I love partying. So when it comes to the event is going to be full of laughter. We're going to have comedians, we're going to have an artist, we're going to have entertainment, because one of the best things that we know how to do as Spanish people is party. Okay. But also at the same time, right, I want this event to be a safe space for everyone to have difficult conversations, to listen to people who have also gone through some, challenges or barriers, but have come on the other on the other side winning and being their best versions. So the event is just surrounded by a community as well. So that's the intent. Is that our community comes together and enjoys and has a great understanding of what mental health actually is and the way that it could benefit us to just be a little bit more mindful about it.
Okay, great. Now, again, that's May 25th, which is a Saturday. And
Yes.
the location of the event again?
Yes. It's going to be in Quisqueya Plaza. This is in Dyckman, and the address to that is 238 Dyckman Street, New York, 10034.
Perfect. And I wish I could be there. I mean,
And
I do
I have a
wish.
flyer too, but
Okay,
we're
good.
gonna
I
have
love
a
that.
we're
Oh, you're
gonna
bringing the community together.
yes, 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 yes. And I wish you were there too, Maria. I really did. I really do.
I really do. I know. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I booked an event that weekend already,
Ugh.
but otherwise, and when you do it again, I would be more than happy to come. And as an example of someone that has been through the churn myself and has learned how to deal with all of life's challenges, because we are so powerful, we are so resilient, we rise up and we
Absolutely.
show up, right? We rise up and we
Absolutely.
show up every day. And what the work that you're doing, the work that we do in this personal development space is so important for everyone.
Yeah.
Kiara, what's a message that you'd like to leave for parents, children, grandparents? What's a
Mm.
message you'd like to leave?
Ooh, let's see. So a message I would love to leave the audience with is tune in with your inner self.
Hmm.
Explore what are some of those things that may be showing up for you. Do the hard things. I think that sometimes we're so scared of it, of actually tuning in with who we are or who we truly feel like we are today, because we may be having challenges of accepting parts of us that are difficult to accept. But what I challenge you to do is to dig deeper into what those parts of you are that you may have a hard time accepting, to start actually doing the work to loving those parts of you, because that's what makes you special. There's one thing that we sometimes feel that we reject the most about us is the one thing that people want to see the most from us. So learning how to love yourselves, learning how to apply compassion and really treat yourselves like you treat your best friends. That's what I always say. If your best friend comes to you with an issue, you would listen empathetically, you would be there for them unconditionally. So what are ways that you can be for yourself the best friend that you are to your own best friend? How can you show up with yourself with that unconditional love and that compassion? Because that's what truly is going to set you free and allow you to be the best person that you want to be and that you deserve to be, because you're special.
You are. We are all special. And I love the way you put that. Now, I have to ask you, what message would you give to your Latina sisters?
Ooh. So to my Latina sisters, I would say, tú tienes el sazón, mami. Okay. So go out there and do what you want to do what your heart desires, because you're so worth it and you belong. And no matter what others tell you, remember that if there's a fire in your belly, is because God placed it there for a reason. So find what that is for you. find your tribe, find your community, find people that are going to lift you up and not doubt you. We already do a great job doubting our own selves and being in our head about like whether I should do this or I should not do that. Go for what it is that you want, and trust me and believe me, everything will open up for you.
Beautiful. That is amazing. That's beautiful. I love the way you put that. Go for it.
Thank
In
you.
other words, just go for it. And
Do it.
don't let cultural norms get in the way. Don't let societal norms get in the way. Just go. Be you. Do you. And you'll have everything that your heart truly desires.
Yeah,
Right? You
it's
will.
yours.
Absolutely.
It is.
Okay, fun question, because you know I like to have fun too. I'm the big genie and I'm coming down and I'm granting you 3 wishes. What would those be?
Oh my goodness, I love this. Okay, first one would be uh the one that I would ask today would be, okay, give me enough money to retire my parents. That would be the first one. I want to retire my parents.
Good.
First one. Second one would be second one would be provide me with a building where I can have community events, okay, unlimited community events, promoting professional development, personal development, mental health. So I would have my practice there too, all of that. So a building, I'll ask for a building in New York City, by the way. And then the third one would be, let's see, the third one would be for for there to be intentional, but there to be a immense sort of awakening in the world where everyone realizes that, oh, wait a minute, if I take care of myself and I do the inner work or inner work, I'll be able to be the best version of myself and like overcome all of these, mood swings that I may be feeling, or like that would be definitely something I'll ask for. Provide like get like, I don't know, do like a little magia and allow everybody to understand the need for them to look inward instead of relying on
Beautiful.
external factors.
Right, because we rely on external factors and we're always, looking at judging ourselves, comparing ourselves, and gossiping about the world, right?
Blaming, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So let's just do the work with ourselves. And once you do the work with yourselves, my God, the world opens up to possibilities. I love your
Yes.
vision. You're going to get that building. I know you're going to get your building. Someone is going
Thank
to
you.
donate it. I can see this happening.
Amen.
I mean,
Amen.
I can see this happening. So now, if someone wants to get hold of you, they want to reach you, how do they do that?
Yes, thank you. So you can go to my Instagram page at MRSKIARALUNA. So at Mrs. Kiara Luna. You can also reach out to me via email at Kiara@newyoupsychotherapy.com. And you can also visit my website, newyoupsychotherapy.com.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Miss Kiara, Mrs. Kiara Luna. I love that. And I know your story and your beautiful children and your wonderful
Yes.
husband. Yeah, it's great. I just want to say how much I enjoyed having you today on the show. And I really, really appreciate you taking the time, because I know you're one busy woman, especially with this event coming up. So I know you'll be posting a lot of stuff, and we'll post it all. Just share it with us, and we'll post it all to our communities as well.
Thank
So
you
my
so much.
friends, I want you to look up Mrs. Kiara Luna and go follow her. She is a great woman, and she is a young, dynamic, upcoming superstar in the world. Who knows? She may be the next governor of New York. You never know. Not the next, but eventually she will be. So my friends, who do you know that needs to hear this message? What I'd love you to do is I'd love you to go ahead and hit the share button. Do it now. Hit the share button. Share it with all your friends. Everybody needs someone in their life cheering them on, and you hear stories here to encourage you and inspire you to be better every day. So until next time, stay focused, stay positive, always have fun, and no matter what you choose to be, do, or have, my friends, do it with passion. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks so much.